There are many different reasons to be fired from the job, and we will study those cases because of two things. One is to locate the problematic graha and provide the remedies, the physical ones in form of advices and predictions in time, and then the metaphysical ones in form of mantras. And the second thing is, if we understand what could be the potential cause of the being kicked out of the job, then we will probably not go, we will not trigger those energies. We will be very careful not go that route, because we know that this can end not good. Of course, if we want to hold the position. So we will go through 4 such charts. The first one is a little bit like a business or freelance, because just like Syd Barrett was kicked out from Pink Floyd because of substance abuse, the same situation we have with the first case, the band member of the Supremes, Florence Baddert, was not able to continue with the band. It was like left out, we could say. And then we have 3 such charts when person was also fired because of similar. In all cases, it was like a punishment, but a little bit different. The first one was because of the views. The second one was more about the going own route, so deciding to fulfill independent desire. And the third one was just not following the protocol. It was related to COVID regulations. The person was not following and therefore was kicked out of the job. So we will see how we can analyze in the chart those differences. What we will not do in this video is we will not rectify those Varga charts. You have to trust me, I did it myself. And the second thing is we will not analyze why in that period person was fired. In all of these cases, it activated those points of end of work. So again, you have to trust me. But in this video, we will specifically focus on what could be the cause of being fired on the spot. As you know, in the professional astrology, we cannot depend on the one point. It is illusion to expect to give a tangible prediction based on the one position of the chart. Usually we need some kind of recipe with many ingredients on different levels. So in today's video, we'll be analyzing the Rashi, Navamsha, and Dashamsa. Rashi is the main chart, Navamsha is chart of the fortune, and the Dashamsa is the special map of the work environment or the office. Because there will be many situations which can be quite complex. For example, you could get compensation, you can get money after being fired, right? In high-profile job, this is usually the standard practice. And in such situation, for example, the 8th house Indi Dashamsa will be activated, and some good yoga related to the 10th Indi Navamsha. So you are getting wealth, but also you are ending the job. So such situation of compensation will also be there. And sometimes you can have a big punishment. You can have a depression after that time. So then you need to connect those situation of Dashamsa with that specific places in the Rashi. So we will also make those stories. And as we said in the previous video, the best way to do such stories, to connect many areas of life and to make it in a reliable way, is through the Dasha. Because then we are sure we have that common thread which will connect those various karmic places in our chart. The best is Narayana Dasha and Audayika Dasha. If you would like to learn how we do it in our tradition, then please see the link in the description. For example, in the Florence Baddert chart, in the first one, if we start from the Dashamsa, 8th house and the 8th lord is end of the job, we see Mars is 8th lord in the 8th house, but it's an own sign. So we need to see Uchanata, or Lord of Exaltation. If planet is in own sign, we need to go to the Uchanata, which is Saturn. And Saturn is in the Lagna with Mercury, the Lagna Lord. So we see there is some skill. Mercury is nicely Digbala, 10th Lord in the Lagna, but there is this Marana Karakastana of Saturn. So we can say that the person may end the profession and the job because of some personal problems, Lagna Lord, which can hamper the performance, 10th Lord, and also this is in nature of Saturn. And around this Saturn, we have Venus and Sun. So 2nd Lord and 2nd house is about the team, about band, and these are in the 12th house, in Leo. We can also see how 7th Lord of business is in 9th house of freelance, and dispositor of that is Venus and Moon in 12. So it's like a loss of freelance and business and loss of band. in that 12th house. And guess what? The dasha at that time was dasha of Leo. We know that this is Saturn. This could be also fortune and misfortune, Jupiter and Saturn. Saturn can be related to some problems with being dishonest. And Saturn also may show something related to the substance abuse. Or sometimes Saturn is also, especially the 10th from the Saturn, is showing the failures in the work or mistakes or errors and things like that, which can also be the source of dismissal. So in this case, let's see the Navamsha. In the Navamsha, we have Sun and Rahu in the 2nd house. Sun and Rahu, if related usually to the 7th house, is a yoga for also substance abuse. And we have 2nd Lord Saturn. And this axis of 2nd and 8 is touched by malefics. This is usually showing problems with health or with finances. So there is some Duri yoga. We know that in the Navamsha it's quite serious, right? The Navamsha will tell us, is it serious or is it not serious, what we can do about this. And now if we go to Rashi, we will get the exact cause, because the Lagna Lord Mercury is in the 12th house with the Moon and Saturn. So 12th house, as you know, is very much related to mental challenges, especially if the Moon is related or afflicted. And here we see that the Saturn is also 6th from the Aruda Lagna. Therefore, it's showing that it is all about the addictions. And because it's in 2nd from Aruda Lagna, this can totally, we could say, take the carpet from the feet, right? So it can totally destabilize the Aruda of the person, the whole social standing. We can see Aruda is aspected by Venus, it's all about the entertainment. 2nd house, however, is having this problem in the 12th of mental challenges and addiction. So now we know that whatever was shown in the Dashamsa as the Saturn, we confirmed in the Navamsha is quite serious case, and in the Rashi we have found exact case. Now let's see to the 2nd example. This is now person who was a teacher. We have a Jupiter in Artha Kona in the Shamsa. We are again starting from the Artha Kona. But the same Jupiter is also 8th Lord. So that whatever the Jupiter is may also be cause of problem, or this may be a situation because of which person will be fired. We have now connection of 9th and 10th to the 8th. This is very important because these are the charts, these are the people who will be fired by the boss or the board. So we have this Saturn and Rahu in 8th, and Saturn and Rahu, right? This can mean that one will be very much like dominated. It's like real, it's not easy way here. It's really kicking one out of the profession. And it was all because of that Jupiter, because it's 8th Lord. We see now the Navamsha, 11 and 12 are accentuated here, especially they are very important because Mercury and Moon are in the 12th house. Now this Mercury will have a double role here. It will also control the health because Mercury is Lagna Lord. The person died early because the immune system issue, the ALS. We will see this is very clear, seen in the chart. Mars and Rahu are in the 12th house or afflicting 12th house of immune system. 11 from the Moon of immune system is touched by this, the Mars itself. And we see that then the Saturn, the muscles and the nerves, right? So the ALS or MS, those category of autoimmune diseases will be related to that yoga. And in the Navamsha, Lagna Lord Mercury is also in the 12th house. So it's not the best. But the same thing is also related to his problem with being free. So now if we go to the Rashi chart, we have 3 yogas for jail, right? We have a Lagna Lord Rahu related to the Dushtana. We have Bandhana Yoga, equal planets on the same side of the ascendant, and 12 from Karaka Lagna, or the Atma Karaka is related to the Lagna or Lagna Lord. So therefore we could say that finally he was arrested, and we see how this Jupiter is showing the views in the Dashamsa. But again, Jupiter may show many, many things, right? It could be things related to children, it could be things related to having just a different stance or something, but not really because of the whole personality, like we will be seeing in the 4th example. It's just not following some system, but it's not about the whole being, the whole, we could say, core philosophy of the person that you are being fired because of that. So to conclude, Jupiter was the case in the Navamsha, we see 12th house of jail, also an 11th of a punishment were activated. In the Rashi chart, we had those yogas for being somehow the freedom is really taken away and one is really blocked in whatever one is doing, right? We have those malefics which are blocking the person. The Rahu and Saturn are on the Mars. They are taking the fire of Mars away. This is the core of the Kuja Stambhana Yoga. So maybe it's not super practical because not many people will be jailed because of their views, but we could understand the lighter version of that, right? For example, Jupiter related to 8 and that Saturn Rahu, those people may have problems, job maybe even terminated because of their stance or something or because of their views. So if you have this yoga and if you want to hold the position, maybe it's not the best to share your views or show your activism in some places because that may be a problem for you. The third case is a little bit different, but we will see the similarity to the second case. For example, 10th Lord in the Rashi was in 11th with malefics. Here in Judy Dragon, we have the same situation. 10th Lord Mercury in the 11th, here with Mars and Ketu. So it's like being punished, being thrown out. 11th house is also showing the end of job. If there are malefics, it could happen in not the best situation. So in the Dashamsa, if we start again with the Dashamsa, we have again connection of 8th and 9th Lord. They are having the same lordship, but they are aspecting the Leo. And the Dasha at the time when this happened was Leo, right? So this was time, Sun and Saturn. This could be some areas of government or related to some big companies. And she was really fired from a huge company. But there is a big difference because in the Navamsha, the Moon and Mercury, which are responsible for the work for the person, are in 5th and the 9th. So there is problem to the Moon. It is aspected by Mars and Saturn. So that was the case. She was fired and definitely it was not a good experience. But after that, she could, we could say, reincarnate her work, her career. She started having her own company and going more into that, we could say, freelance jobs. Still, she is coming resilient from that challenge, right? But in the second case, it was more problematic because it was 11, 12 in the Navamsha. So the Navamsha can nicely show us the level of the problem, right? The intensity. And in the Rashi chart, we also see that it was a Mercury which was showing the problem, right? For example, in the first case, it was Moon and Saturn related to second from Arudha Lagna or second from the Moon, right? So what can destabilize you joining the or being in the work family, second from the Moon. Also, what is very important, in both cases, we see that we had the malefics, the Ketu in the 6th from Arudha Lagna, and in the third example, we have Ketu in the 3rd from Arudha Lagna. So we can also see that it is a quite revolutionary, a little bit like aggressive, right, proactive, putting those malefic energy on others, and therefore others get triggered and are doing the 11th house, are punishing, and in the form of 8th house in the Dashamsa. Now let's go to the 4th. This is the consultation from yesterday. With the allowance of the client, we can share what was happening. So in the 4th, one person was not following the protocols related to the COVID in 2020, and therefore he was fired. And we can also see that 8th Lord in the Dashamsa is Rahu and Jupiter in the Leo. So we have this 7th house. It could be also seen as some kind of opposition, going against something, especially with the malefic Rahu and Ketu, right? Ketu is in the Lagna, so it's also showing that kind of revolutionary approach to career life. Now, in the Navamsha, we have a Sun in the 3rd house. So this is like going against the Sun-like authority. The boss and the big company is, of course, in that category. So in the previous, we can go back to Judy Dragon. She also had Sun in the 3rd. So it's also going against boss. By the way, I didn't explain what really happened. So this was related to this O.J. Simpson case, and she published the article in which he supposedly admitted to those murders. And it was a big case because before he was acquitted from the whole case. So you can read more about this from the Wikipedia, or the chart is also available of the Astrological. Very interesting story. We also see Mercury and Moon publishing journalist in the Arta Kona in the Dashamsa. But in that 4th chart of my client, he also have Sun in the Navamsha, but Mercury is blocked also. It's blocked by those malefics who are ahead of him. And therefore, this may also show that there will be some situation, especially when that Dasha get activated. And it was all in Sun Ketu, in the Dasha, when the Sun Ketu was active. And in the Rashi chart, we can see now that there is a parivartana between Lagna Lord and the 11th house. That is one thing. And these are all malefics, right? Mars and the Saturn, this is like a Yama Yoga. These people can be very courageous, maybe like warrior, rebels, things like that. And the Mars here is also Niruchika Yoga. So this gives the very independent, like a leader spirit, right? And Sun and Ketu in the 9th house. So we have all Trikonavai fiery grahas. This gives also the temper. And when the malefics, especially the fiery one, are in the 9th, in the Rashi, then a person, because of anger, may, we could say, create some problems, right? For himself or herself. So those people are in the category of they are doing something, there was too much conflict, they said something, and that can cause a big problem. And how big are the problems we can see in the Navamsha. So both Jupiter and Mercury are blocked by these two malefics, which are before and after. And in the Rasi chart, we have also the 8th Lord Jupiter and Rahu, which can give effects of the Sun. We know this note yoga already on this channel. And the Sun is in the 10th house. So we have some connection of 8, end of job, to the 10th. And 10th house is about the board, about the protocols, more like a policy of the company, right? It's not the boss is firing you directly, because that would be 9th house. It's more about some policy of the company, which is the 10th house. So we have again this connection, and the Lagna Lord is also there. So now we know it was like the conscious decision of the person, and it was all related to this Jupiter. Again, the views, right? There is a difference in the views, and we can confirm from the Rasi and from the Navamsha that this is about this rebellious nature, that the person may have this fire of Mars, this going against something. This could be also things which are very impulsive, because we have this Mars and Ketu, and they are causing that curse in the 10th house when we have 10th Lord and Mercury. So that the Badaka, right? Because we have Badaka Saturn and Badakesha Ketu. So it's like Badaka Kartari, we could call it. This is squeezing this Mercury and 10th house. Therefore, we can say that these problems of Mars, which sometimes may not be really the native may not be aware of the issue. That is the nature of the Badaka. There is some Rahu, there is some unawareness, there is some darkness. We have to unveil. This is the what the Ganesha sadhana can do, or the Jupiter sadhana. Therefore, we do it. Okay, guys, so I hope you can appreciate this methodology, how we are going from the Dashamsa. In the Navamsha, we are seeing the level of the problem, and then in the Rashi, we are trying to unpack whatever the Karaka in the Dashamsa was telling us. At least with this 4 example, this method works very, very good. Of course, I will be updating you if we find another better rule, and definitely we have something there. And don't forget to subscribe to don't miss that video. Thanks for being here with me on this channel. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. We'd like to have one-on-one consultation on the Zoom when we interpret your chart and seeing also the Navamsha and the Shamsa, all the yogas with the timing. Then please hit me up with this email here, and we can schedule a nice 60 or 90 minutes Zoom consultation. If you'd like to learn how we rectify the Navamsha, please consider watching this one.